Fire. Fire occupies a unique place in nature. It is not matter itself, but it involves the reaction of different types of matter to generate energy in the form of heat and light. Human beings, among all the creatures on Earth, have the unique ability to control fire. Based on this ability, fire has played an enormous role in the development of human civilization. Human scientific and technological advances, as well as their everyday lives, depend on the controlled use of fire. And based on this controlled use of fire, we need fire to cook food, heat homes, run engines, smelt and form metals, and generate electricity, etc. However, when fire is uncontrolled, it can have serious consequences and it can cause massive destruction on building, woodlands, and human lives. So, uncontrolled fires or open flame in a place not intended to contain the flame are extremely dangerous as they spread swiftly, destroy property, and kill and injure living things. Now, firefighting is the act of attempting to prevent the spread of such uncontrolled and unwanted fire and to extinguish it in buildings, vehicles, and woodlands, etc. And this is mainly done through the following steps and actions. First step, determining the type, the extent, the size, and the involved fuel in order to determine the extinguishing media and its flow rates, etc., and also assessment of the wind and the potential risk of spread. Second step is trying to put down the fire with the correct media and technique where direct, indirect, or combined techniques are usually used to tackle the blaze and flames of the fire, all decided based on assessment done in the first step. Now, third step done in parallel with the second step is a containment action taken based on the initial assessment and actual status to suppress the fire spread through establishing a control line around the fire and any associated spot fires. And when fire is put down, immediate actions are done to prepare the scene for root cause investigation, noting that the bigger the fire, the more difficult to find its causes, since fire consumes the evidence of its initiation as it grows. Now, root cause investigation go mainly through three steps: planning the investigation, data collection, and data analysis. And once the real root causes of the fire incident are determined, then corrective actions to be implemented to eliminate the detected root causes and to avoid reoccurrence of the fire incident. But since no one actually wants to have a fire at his home, his car, or his workplace, so preventive actions taken to avoid having the fire incidents in the first place are always more preferable than corrective actions that are taken after the fire incidents. And although that preventive actions usually involve some investments, but they aim to pay back such investments by avoiding massive destruction and losses due to such uncontrolled fire incidents. Preventive actions can be either the measures that are intended to prevent ignition of the uncontrolled fire, so reducing probability, or the set of practices and controls intended to reduce the destruction and consequences impact caused by the fire incident when already happened, by limiting the development and effects of the fire after it starts so that we can move it from the uncontrolled status to be under control. One example of such preventive measures is the use of automatic fire suppression systems that are used to extinguish, control, and prevent fires from spreading, using fire sprinkler systems that are comprised of a mesh of pipes running along the ceiling connected to a water source under pressure, and of sprinkler heads equipped with heat-sensitive plugs that open at certain temperature when fire starts. Sorry, but wait, hold up, go back a minute. Why we are talking about fire and firefighting here? While this part of the quality series is supposed to explain something about improvement actions like corrective and preventive actions and the importance of risk-based thinking approach in continual improvement, well, we are trying to simplify things here by trying to assume all previously mentioned situations of uncontrolled fire as situations of uncontrolled quality or simply quality problems. Let us try to sense the similarities between the two situations in terms of the needs for correction actions, containment actions, root cause investigations, corrective and preventive actions. And this is what we will try to explain in this part of the series. Well, no one wants to have uncontrolled fire at his home or uncontrolled quality at his organization, especially if this lack of control will impact compliance with the client requirements. Hence, applying risk-based thinking is our best scenario for improvement, so that we evaluate the risks of potential problems in advance and act proactively against the most prior ones that have high impact and high or medium probability by taking preventive actions to prevent these risks from becoming real problems where consequences can be so critical in a sector like oil and gas sector, as was shown in parts 4 and 5 of this quality series. And this is why risk-based thinking and related preventive actions are important for continual improvement. However, and since perfect systems or processes do not exist, as was mentioned in the introduction of this series, of course, there is no human-made perfect product or perfect system or process. And actually, all quality tools and techniques exist to deal with this fact. So, problems will happen sometimes, and unfortunately, uncontrolled fires might be there. And hence, this quality continual improvement approach is needed to turn such errors, problems, or nonconformities into opportunities for improvement, even in this reactive mood, by first, of course, correcting the uncontrolled situations with an immediate fixing action to return the process back into control, remove or correct the nonconformity and discard or repair the nonconforming product if any and as applicable, which is called correction action. And in parallel with this first action, the other immediate action is to suppress the problem from spreading and from impacting other products or processes. After, of course, assessing the size and extent or border of the problem, the fire, and if this initial assessment indicates that some more products or processes have been impacted, then we shall apply to them the same correction fixing actions that mentioned before, and this is called containment action. But all of these firefighting actions and initial assessments will not guarantee that the same problem will not appear later in same process for same product or in another process or different product, since what we did so far was only suppressing and extinguishing the fire, while the real improvement journey has just started, since we need now to investigate the real root causes of the problem in order to eliminate the same and to assure that such problem or nonconformity will not happen again, and this action is called corrective action. Okay, let's try to summarize now. And as mentioned in part 2, improvement is actually a change from a current aspect in business status management system, in a process, in a product design, to a favorable one. So this change can be done reactively from an unconforming situation, problematic situation, to a conforming situation with root cause eliminated, as explained, and this is corrective action. Or in more favorable scenario, the change can be done proactively, driven by risk-based thinking approach, and it will be in this case from a risky, potentially non-conforming or undesirable situation to a standardized, control favorable situation, and this is preventive action. And finally, for both types of actions, whether preventive or corrective, the real effectiveness of these actions shall be always evaluated based on the complete elimination of the root causes. And in this case, we shall be careful that treating only the symptoms of the problems without taking out the problem tree from its deep roots will not guarantee that the same will not grow again. So we need always to find the roots of the problem or the potential problem, the risk, and make sure of their complete removal. But what is actually meant by root causes of the problem? How such root causes are investigated, analyzed, and determined in order to be eliminated? Well, this is what we are going to learn in part 7 of this quality series. Additionally, and since applying these improvement actions to achieve good quality has a cost, and also bad quality by not applying these actions has also a cost. And these costs, of course, will impact our business in terms of profitability and sustainability. So it is important also to learn something about cost of quality, which will be done in the introduction of next part. Ramadan Kareem, and see you in part 7 after Ramadan.